Hello! In this video, I'll walk you through the essential sewing tools and materials that we use in almost every sewing tutorial and pattern. If you're just starting your sewing journey, don't worry. You do not need to buy everything at once. The most important thing is understanding what each tool is called, what it is used for, and how to use it correctly. Today, we'll go through everything step by step using simple language designed especially for beginners. Tailor's chalk. It is used for marking fabric, transferring pattern pieces, drawing seam lines, making notches and reference marks. Tailor's chalk brushes off easily and usually does not leave permanent marks. Important: always test your chalk on a fabric scrap before using it on your project. Some fabrics may hold pigment more strongly than others. Tailor's chalk comes in several forms: traditional triangular chalk, wax chalk, chalk pencils. For beginners, a soft traditional Tailor's chalk is usually the easiest option. Water-soluble fabric marker. A water-soluble fabric marker is extremely useful for transferring patterns, drawing quilting lines, marking centers, making temporary sewing marks. The markings can be removed with water after sewing. However, there is one important rule. Do not leave the markings on your fabric for an extended period of time, especially on light-colored fabrics. In some cases, the ink may become more difficult to remove. Always test the marker on a scrap piece of fabric first. Heat-erasable fabric marker. Heat-erasable markers disappear when exposed to an iron, hot air, or sometimes simply over time. They are very useful for temporary markings, gathering lines, quilting guides, short sewing projects. Fabric markers are available in many colors: blue, purple, pink, white, green. Different colors are designed to provide better visibility on different fabrics. For example, blue and purple show up well on light-colored cotton fabrics. White markers work best on dark fabrics. Pink or green markers may be easier to see on busy prints. Always choose a color that contrasts well with your fabric. Quilting rulers. These are specialty rulers designed for sewing and quilting. They feature grid markings, angle markings, parallel lines, measurements in inches and centimeters, alignment guides. They are used for accurate cutting, checking angles, squaring up pieces, marking seam allowances, cutting strips. Angle markings. Most quilting rulers include 30-degree, 45-degree, 60-degree. These markings help you draft patterns, check symmetry, create accurate angles, cut bias pieces. For bags and pouches, even a few millimeters can make a noticeable difference in the final result, so accurate measuring is extremely important. Self-healing cutting mat. A cutting mat is used together with rotary cutters, quilting rulers, small pattern pieces. It protects your work surface, your rotary cutter blade, and helps ensure accurate cutting. Most cutting mats include grids, angle markings, measurements. These features make precise cutting much easier. The mat is self-healing, so don't be afraid to apply firm pressure when using your rotary cutter. Rotary cutter. A rotary cutter uses a circular blade to cut fabric. It creates very clean cuts, speeds up the cutting process, works especially well on long, straight lines. Rotary cutters should always be used together with a self-healing cutting mat and a quilting ruler. Important: the blade is extremely sharp. Always close the safety guard after use. Keep your fingers away from the cutting line. Fabric scissors. These are fabric scissors. One very important rule: fabric scissors should only be used for fabric. If you use them to cut paper, cardboard, plastic, they will become dull very quickly. Good fabric scissors should cut smoothly, leave a clean edge, and require very little effort. Thread snips. Thread snips are used for trimming threads, making small cuts, cleaning up finished projects. They are compact, very sharp, and incredibly convenient to keep near your sewing machine.
A seam ripper can be used to remove incorrect stitching, undo seams, carefully open small holes. Always work slowly to avoid damaging the fabric. Standard presser foot. This is the standard presser foot that comes with most sewing machines. It is used for general sewing, joining fabric pieces, top stitching. This is the foot most beginners start with. Common problems. When sewing corduroy, polyester batting, quilted panels, thick fabrics, multiple layers, the upper layer may begin to shift. As a result, layers may creep, wrinkles can form, one layer may become longer than the other, corners can become distorted. For bag making, these issues can be very noticeable. In these situations, a walking foot is highly recommended. Walking foot. A walking foot helps move fabric from both the top and the bottom. It includes an additional feeding mechanism that works together with your machine's feed dogs. This means the lower feed dogs move the fabric from underneath, while the walking foot helps feed the top layer. As a result, all layers move together evenly. When quilting with a walking foot, it is also very helpful to use a quilting guide bar. The guide allows you to maintain perfectly even spacing between quilting lines. Zipper foot. A zipper foot is a special presser foot designed for sewing close to zipper teeth. It is commonly used for regular zippers, invisible zippers, pouches, bags, zippered pockets. Sewing machine needles. Needles are one of the most important sewing supplies. Even the best sewing machine will not perform well if the wrong needle is being used. Why needles need replacing? Over time, needles can become dull, bend slightly, develop microscopic damage. This can cause skipped stitches, uneven seams, fabric snags, thread breakage. If your machine starts skipping stitches, making unusual noises, struggling to penetrate fabric, the first thing to try is replacing the needle. Very often, the needle is the source of the problem. Double-sided sewing tape. This is a thin, double-sided sewing tape. It is used to temporarily hold pieces in place, secure zippers, position handles and straps, replace hand basting in many situations. It is especially useful when sewing bags, wallets, pouches, cases, and organizers. Using sewing tape can save a lot of time and help improve accuracy. Glass head pins. These are glass head pins. They are used for holding pieces together, securing fabric layers, preparing a project before sewing. The colored heads make the pins easier to see and remove while sewing. Glass head pins are especially useful because they can safely withstand the heat of an iron. Sewing clips. Sewing clips are an alternative to pins. They are particularly useful when working with thick fabrics, quilted panels, vinyl, leather, bags, and pouches. Unlike pins, clips do not leave holes in your materials and can be removed very quickly while sewing. Turning tweezers and corner tools. These tools help you turn narrow fabric tubes right side out, push out corners, reach tight areas. They are especially useful when making bag handles, flaps, narrow straps, small cases, key fobs. A good turning tool makes your finished projects look much cleaner and more professional. Bodkin. A bodkin is a tool used for threading elastic, cords, ribbons, drawstrings. It is especially helpful when making ruffles, drawstring bags, pouches, gathered projects. This simple tool can save a lot of frustration when working with narrow casings. Stabilizers and support materials. Now let's talk about some of the stabilizers and support materials we use in many of our projects. These materials help give your projects structure, softness, durability, stability, and a professional finish. Although they are often hidden inside the project, they play a huge role in how the finished item looks and feels. Woven fusible interfacing, 150 grams per square meter. Woven fusible interfacing is a dense woven stabilizer with a heat-activated adhesive coating. We commonly use it to reinforce flaps, handles, bags, wallets, pouches, pockets. How to identify the fusible side? Woven interfacing has two sides. The fusible side. This side feels slightly textured, contains tiny adhesive dots, may have a subtle shine. The fabric side. This side feels smooth.
The fusible side should always face the wrong side of your fabric. How to apply woven fusible interfacing. Place your fabric wrong side up. Position the interfacing with the adhesive side facing down. Cover with a pressing cloth if desired. Press with an iron for 10 to 15 seconds. Important: do not slide the iron across the fabric. Instead, place the iron, press firmly, lift, move to the next section. Sliding the iron can distort both the fabric and the interfacing. Fusible fleece. Fusible fleece is one of our favorite materials for bag making and accessories. It provides softness, volume, protection, cushioning, light structure. Fusible fleece gives projects a soft, puffy appearance while still helping them maintain their shape. How to identify the fusible side? Fusible fleece has two sides. Non-fusible side. This side is soft, fluffy, matte. Fusible side. This side feels slightly textured, contains adhesive dots, may appear slightly shiny. The fusible side should always face the wrong side of your fabric. How to apply fusible fleece? Important: your iron should be set to a steam setting. Place your fabric wrong side up. Position the fusible fleece with the adhesive side facing down. Make sure all edges are aligned. Press each section for 10 to 15 seconds. Do not move the iron back and forth. Double-sided fusible web, 23 grams per meter squared. Double-sided fusible web is a lightweight adhesive material used to bond layers of fabric together. It is commonly used for hems, securing layers, temporary positioning, reinforcement. The adhesive is activated with heat from an iron. However, fusible web should not replace proper stitching in areas that will experience stress or frequent use. Polyester batting. Polyester batting is one of the most common materials used for quilting and bag making. It adds loft, softness, dimension, beautiful quilting texture. Polyester batting is available in different thicknesses: low loft, medium loft, high loft. For beginner projects, low loft or medium loft batting is usually the easiest to work with. Bag hardware, swivel hooks, D-rings, and snaps. When making bags, pouches, and accessories, we often use metal hardware. Swivel hook. A swivel hook is a clasp with a rotating base. It is commonly used for bag straps, wrist straps, key holders, pouches, AirPods cases, keychains. Why is it called a swivel hook? The word swivel means rotating. The base of the hook can rotate freely. This helps prevent straps from twisting, improve comfort, and create a cleaner finished appearance. D-ring. A D-ring is a metal ring shaped like the letter D. It is commonly used for attaching straps, swivel hooks, handles, decorative accessories. Swivel hooks and D-rings are often used together to create removable straps. Sew-on snaps. Sew-on snaps are the simplest type of closure. They are sewn on by hand, require no special tools, are beginner-friendly. Advantages: easy to install, easy to replace, no press required. Disadvantages: take longer to install, stitching may be visible on the inside. Snap fasteners. Snap fasteners are metal or plastic snaps installed using specialized tools. Magnetic snaps are extremely popular for bags, phone pouches, cases, cosmetic bags. These are the main tools and materials that we use throughout our sewing tutorials and patterns. As you continue sewing, you will discover which tools become your personal favorites. Remember, you do not need a large collection of tools to create beautiful projects. Even with a basic sewing toolkit, you can make professional-looking bags, pouches, and accessories. The most important thing is simply to get started. Happy sewing!